tag. I'm it, apparently. So, of course, most of you know about this YouTube 5 Facts tag thing that's been going around. And I'm sure the majority of you watching this have probably done it, or at least been tagged by somebody. Yeah, kind of a fun idea. Sort of get, sort of a YouTube variant on the old chain letter idea, but one that's actually fun and interesting for a change. And apparently nobody will die horrible, painful deaths if you don't do it. But me being a good sport, I'm doing it. Because I've been tagged, not only once, but twice. Yes, I'm just that freaking popular, apparently. So to Kytt and bowiechick, thank you. Thank you for dragging me kicking and screaming into this whole thing. Okay, so 5 facts about little old me. Fact number 1. At all times, especially when going out, I always keep on my person a pair of nail clippers. These are quite sizable as well. These are actually toenail clippers, complete with nail file and cuticle thingy. I actually use this to dig dirt out of my fingernails. But this can be attributed to sort of one of my little obsessive-compulsive behaviors, of which I have a few, but this is probably the most visibly noticeable. I hate hangnails. I really do, with a passion. And there's nothing I hate worse than being stuck outside in the middle of nowhere with a hangnail and no way to get rid of it other than to just rip that sucker off. So yes, I carry nail clippers with me at all times, whether I'm out, whether I'm here. Well, if I'm here, I don't necessarily carry them on my person, but I at least keep them close by, and I know where they are at all times. So it's very important to me to have nail clippers all the time. Fact 2. I possess far more DVDs than the average human being. Far more. Oh, that wasn't even all of them. There's an entire other row of DVDs behind my also rather massive PS2 game collection. Then, of course, there's all of my girlfriend's DVDs. People sometimes ask me why we don't have cable television. Do you really need an answer to that question? The simple fact of the matter is, we like being able to watch what we want, when we want, and commercial-free. And if we want to watch 20 episodes of something back-to-back, we can. We don't like being at the whims and whimsies of the networks and cable television channels, not to mention being bombarded with borderline brainwashing commercials. We are blissfully not a part of that part of society, because we have, in effect, thanks to the TV on DVD revolution and just the multitude of titles available, movie titles and whatnot, we are in effect our own television network, and have been for almost 3 years now, and it doesn't show any signs of slowing down, because all that stuff you just saw, we haven't even watched all of it. Yeah. So, it's going to take us a while to get through all of it, and by the time we do get through all of it, we will have since purchased more to add to the collection, so we'll have even more to watch. So basically, the long and the short of it is, we will never need cable TV. Now, I guess just to sort of add this into a specific fact about me, I've been collecting videos since 1985, when I started with VHS, of which this is some of the few remaining remnants. And then in 1991, I moved on to Laserdisc, which at the time was the elite, high-quality format available. And then, I believe in 2001, I finally made the switch over to DVD. I didn't switch over to DVD right away because I wasn't overall impressed with the quality of the first-generation DVDs. They hadn't quite got the compression down, and early DVDs tended to suffer from artifacting and quality problems that really pissed me off as someone who'd been enjoying the pristine quality of Laserdisc for so long. And but they have since basically ironed out all the kinks in the format, and it's a really solid format now. And well, It's also a lot cheaper than Laserdisc ever was. And, yeah, so anyway, that's basically it. Fact 3! I guess while we're on the subject of technology, you may have gathered from my PS2 collection that I like video games. I've actually been playing video games pretty much since the dawn of video games. My very first video game system was in fact a home Pong system. Oh yes. Radio Shack, realistic brand. Oh yeah. The great thing about that Pong game was you basically had two paddles. One of the paddles, the player one paddle, had all the controls for all the parameters of the game. And here's the thing, nowadays, with a video game, you have to go into the options menu to change something, and you can't really do that on the fly during a game. However, with this old Pong system, it was all just buttons and dials and switches on this massive brick of a controller. So what I would do, being, 6, 7 years old at the time, is I'd be playing against my dad, and as soon as I would fire the little ball across his way, I would flick the switch that would reduce the size of his paddle to about, a couple of pixels. Yeah, I was a stinker. Anyway, needless to say, he didn't play very much with me until we got the ColecoVision in 1982. Yes, folks, I still have my ColecoVision. ColecoVision at the time came out around the time where the Atari 2600 and the Intellivision were in their heyday, and the ColecoVision was touted as the true-to-life, genuine arcade experience in your home. And well, honestly, in 1982, it was the closest you could get. Years later, I got a Sega Genesis, which unfortunately was stolen by a vengeful ex-girlfriend. A few years after that, I purchased a Panasonic 3DO system, a system most of you have probably never even heard of. And then finally, a PS2. This is actually my second PS2. I originally had the first generation PS2 where it had the slide-out tray. This is the newer slim version, which I actually find runs a little better than the old one. So being a long-time video game fan, people often ask me if I play games like WoW and Second Life and things like that. The simple answer to that is no, and there's a very good reason for that. I have a somewhat addictive personality. I can get hooked on things very easily. Anyone who chats with me on Stickam will attest to that. And the far too many hours I spend there. So for that reason, and plus I know a lot of people who have gotten just sucked into the world of WoW, and WoW has essentially become their world. For those not in the know, WoW is the short form for World of Warcraft. Anyway, so no, unfortunately I don't play those, simply because I know I would love them, and that I would spend all my time playing them, and basically not get anything else done. Fact 4! I'm not at all ashamed to tell you that I'm a freak for British science fiction. Oh, and Godzilla's pretty cool too. It started when I was about 9 years old, and I got a book about robots. I still have it somewhere. It's buried in a box in the storage room somewhere. Anyway, this book about robots had a couple of pictures of a couple of robots from British science fiction series that I'd never heard of. Oh, just a little show called Doctor Who. Oh yeah. Specifically, for those who would know such things, the robots in question were the robot from the story entitled Robot, which was Tom Baker's first story, Tom Baker being the fourth Doctor. And the second one was a picture of some Cybermen, who I believe were the Cybermen from The Invasion, which was a Patrick Troughton story. Patrick Troughton was the second Doctor. Anyway, I got obsessed with the idea of seeing this Doctor Who show. It just looked cool. I was like, I pictured it as this show about robots. I was like, cool, robots. Robots are awesome. I'm a little kid, I'm a little boy, I love robots. So I was flipping through the TV guide one day and saw the local PBS, Public Broadcasting System, for those who don't know, station was showing Doctor Who. So I tuned in one day, and it was just the tail end, the last 5 minutes. I'm going to really show how much of a Doctor Who nerd I am, that I still remember this. It was the last 5 minutes of Part 4 of Revenge of the Cybermen, which was the concluding story of Tom Baker's first season as Doctor Who, which I believe was season 14 of the series. Anyway, So I tuned in, and lo and behold, there were the Cybermen. These robots I had seen in my robot book, and I was like, cool! It's the Cybermen! It's Doctor Who! Wow! The other thing that made it seem really cool to me was in this robot book, it said it was a TV show geared at ages 12 and up. I was 10 years old at the time, so I thought, oh, I'm so bad, I'm watching a show meant for older boys. Ooh! So, yeah. Anyway, in the intervening years, I became a Doctor Who fanatic, and then through Doctor Who discovered other British science fiction. So if we take a look at my DVD collection, you'll notice I have a buttload of Doctor Who. This isn't even all of the ones that are available on DVD. I can't afford all of them right now. And then, of course, we have Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And I originally discovered Hitchhiker's Guide on the local PBS station, put Doctor Who on hiatus for a little bit, and put Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy on in its place. I was pissed. My dad had seen it before, and he said, oh, you gotta check this out. It's really funny. You'll love it. I was like, but, Doctor Who isn't on! It's not Doctor Who! What's this funny science fiction? What the hell? But having said that, I loved Hitchhiker's Guide. Saw it again a few years later. My friends and I became obsessed with it in the same way that we became obsessed with Monty Python. And it was like one of the shows we quoted to each other most often. So anyway, Hitchhiker's Guide. Specifically the original British version, not the frickin' Hollywood movie version, which just butchered the whole thing. I know Douglas Adams wrote the script, and most of the major changes in it were stuff that he did before he died, but still, come on, it's not the same as the old ones. Then, of course, next to Hitchhiker's Guide, we have Red Dwarf, the complete series, The Tomorrow People, which is kind of an obscure 70s series not everyone here might have heard of, but another British sci-fi series. It's really cheesy, but I like it. And then the 1981 miniseries version of Day of the Triffids, which is basically the best television adaptation ever of that. And of course, no British collection is complete without Robin of Sherwood, the all-time greatest Robin Hood series ever. Oh yeah, so I guess for those of you who are looking for an update to my DVD collection, there's a mini one for you, just the British sci-fi section. Anyway, honestly, I could go on and on and on about how much I love Doctor Who and British sci-fi and stuff like that, because it's always been a passion of mine. Well, ever since I was 10 years old and read that book on robots. Yeah. Fact 5! I have not paid for a haircut in over 10 years because I purchased this. Best 20 bucks I ever spent. It's basically a hair trimmer, totally adjustable, and I just use it to shear it all off, touch up the sides a bit, and then I look smoking hot for the next month. It's great. Best 20 bucks I ever spent. Considering the average haircut is, 10 bucks, maybe 20. 20 bucks for one haircut. Just a wash and a trim. So I basically got my money's worth out of this the first, let's be really generous, the first 2 times I used it. I've lost count of how many times I've used it since. 20 bucks, and it's lasted me over 10 years. Awesome. Speaking of which, looking a little shaggy. Starting to look like one of those Hell's Angels. Anyway, I'm going to go cut my hair. And, yeah. So anyway, that's 5 facts about me. Oh, shoot. Now I got to tag 5 people, don't I? I haven't put a lot of thought into this. Okay. These are the 5 people I tag. The purple-haired goddess herself, Zenthia. One of the most criminally underviewed users on YouTube, Thello77. Seriously, check out his stuff. He's frickin' hilarious. I don't know why you people aren't watching him. What's the matter with you? A dear friend who I chat with on Stickam, and actually met on Stickam, and watch her YouTube blogs regularly, Ms. Holly Roberts, 19. One of my oldest YouTube chums and longest subscribers, Petrus4. Really smart guy. You should check out his blogs. He has some really insightful and interesting things to say. And I know it's been a long time since my old shoutout video, but it's Petrus4, not Petrus04, Petrus4. And last, but most certainly not least, yes, the girl who shares the same name as my daughter, Just Rose 05. Well, actually, my daughter's name isn't Just Rose 05. It's Rose. But yeah. So Just Rose 05, you have been tagged, and everybody else, you have been tagged. So you 5 people are it. Yes. So now comes the decision. I was tagged twice, so I have to figure out who I'm going to attach this video to. Well, as much as I'm inclined to attach it to bowiechick, simply because we've known each other longer, and she gets more viewers than I do, generally, so it would be great to get the increase in viewership by attaching one of my videos to one of hers. Alas, I have to go with the first come, first served philosophy. Kytt tagged me first, and Kytt, quite frankly, could leech off some of my viewers and get some more for his stuff. He's doing a really cool project called the Social Terrorist Legion. It's basically a sketch comedy show, which I highly recommend everybody check out. Yeah, so Kytt, you get my video as an attachment to your video. Yeah. It sounds like the little one's awake, so I must go tend to her. Anyway, this has been fun. Yes. Fun, that's the word. Anyway, catch you guys later. I'll be doing a little more, trying to do some more blogs in the next little while, so, yeah, I got lots of interesting things to say. Well, at least I find them interesting. Hopefully some of you will find them interesting too. Alright, so until next time, thanks for watching, and sayonara.